Today we're going to be speaking about anxiety around money. You're going to learn the neuroscience of it, the practicality of it, the mindset around it. If you are one of these people that every single day, every single morning you're waking up and you're feeling stressed, you're feeling there's anxiety every single time that you have to pay something, that it doesn't matter when your paycheck comes, you're always feeling there's something lacking, there's something missing, it's never enough, and every single time that you get money, you cannot even celebrate it because you're already thinking in what you need to pay and when is the next amount coming to you. You're part of the 98% of people, and hopefully today you're going to get to understand yourself, all the behavioral ways in which this is triggered in your humanity, and also how to change it, how to shift your self-perception in a way in which your worth actually allows you to enjoy what you have. Because this is the thing, I have been noticing that no matter how much money you have in your bank account, I know people with hundreds of millions and I know people with less than $100 in their bank account, and often they are feeling the same. They're feeling they cannot enjoy the money that they have. And that is the reason why they're always seeking more. And the first time that I saw this was actually when I was working in consulting. I was working in consulting for one of the biggest consulting firms around the world. And I felt how everybody was stressed there. We were working until early in the morning and late nights. And there was a point in which I was so over it and I realized that that was not what I wanted for my life. So I would see all the partners and all the people that had the level of income or the level of success I thought I wanted. And that none of them had a life that I wanted to experience. So then I went to the other side of the pendulum and I started a spiritual path based mainly in ancestral wisdom. And for the last 12 years, I've been sitting with multiple indigenous communities. I've been traveling around the world, learning from different practices. But there's something that I found in the spiritual community as well, that there were people incredibly wise, but they were also struggling to pay the rent. And they were also coming from this space of lack, of something missing. And then my question was like, if they feel so connected to the source, to an infinite source, why are they still operating in lack? And believe me, this is something that I experienced firsthand. I remember one time after I quit my job, I was living in Switzerland. I was doing also some consulting jobs there. And I decided to quit all of that lifestyle because I was feeling very unfulfilled and I knew that it wasn't taking me where I wanted to be. And I decided to go on a journey of discovery of spiritual practices. And I went to Indonesia. I was going to Bali, but in the way to Bali, I stopped in Singapore. And I remember I had money in my bank account, but I was so afraid to spend it in any way because I didn't know where the next income was going to come from. And I didn't know how long I was going to stay in Indonesia. So I remember I stayed in this hostel, sharing a room with at least 20 people from all over the world. They had like hanging clothes in their beds. I slept with a mask on. That was how afraid I was in that space. I remember they had like some soaps and some things in the bathroom, but I didn't want to use that. So I was showering with toothpaste for real. All the time that I was in Singapore, I was having Cheetos, Doritos, or cheese balls for lunch. That's what I could get in the dollar store. And the worst thing that happened to me, I remember I would go to this park and I would overlook in this high, tall building and I saw the brand, the name of the company that I used to work for. And I felt so miserable right there. I did have money in the bank to pay at least for a lunch, but just this feeling of scarcity was so overwhelming. Every single day I was waking up with the anxiety of what's next. How is it that I'm going to survive? Why am I even doing this? And then the one thing that I kept saying in my mind was, well, this is a spiritual path, so I shouldn't be worried about money because anyway, money is so superficial and it is something that if I'm connecting with my deepest essence, it should be something I'm not worried about. Most of the people will tell you that money and spirituality is something separate. But in reality, they are so connected. If you see the chakra system, your energy centers, you're going to see that in the base of that system, you have the root chakra. And the root chakra is the one in charge, is the energy in charge of your steps, your decisions. You surviving as a human being, it's your roots that make you human. And then if you also see, for example, in the Maslow's theory or hierarchy of needs, you're going to see at the very foundational level, there are your physiological needs. So in order for you to scale, to connect with your crown chakra, you need to allow this flow in the system to happen. For as long as you're not tapped in and connected with your humanness, you're always going to be in survival mode, and you're not going to be into service, which is the spiritual transcendence that we're meant to create in this lifetime. And then in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for as long as you cannot have your needs covered in the physiological sense, you're not going to go through the self-transcendence, self-actualization, which is the space in which you can actually connect with your potential, serve in a different way, expand your power as a creator, create things that make an impact in people's lives. Again, I have met the most beautiful spiritual people all around the world. And there's nothing that breaks my heart more than seeing them struggling to make a living. And also, I have met the wealthiest people around the world. And it breaks my heart that they are so connected with the identity they have created around money that it is impossible for them to tap into their essence and connect with what makes them unique and what makes them authentic. Being honest with you, for both type of people, I saw the same behavior. So much anxiety around money, either because money wasn't present or either because they were afraid to run out of money, and then their whole identity, their whole idea of self-worth and self-value was threatened. Now, the truth is, until you don't feel safe in your nervous system to enjoy what you have right now, it doesn't matter how much you get, it's never going to be enough. And I'm not saying that it is wrong to desire more. Your nature is to desire more. You are a creator. The problem is when you need more, when you are using money as something that defines you, you're always going to be in need of it because your value depends on it. Depends on what you have, depends on what you wear, depends on where you live, depends on the experiences that you have. But once you understand that your value is non-negotiable, that you're worth everything you're desiring, then money is going to expand for you. It's going to be a channel more than a meaning. This is where the inner work is needed. And the practical way in which you can start doing this is by creating coherence inside of yourself. Coherence means that what I think, that what I speak, that what I feel, and that what I do are aligned, are in alignment with my deepest purpose, are in alignment with who I am. Imagine, this is so ridiculous. Imagine if I was to say, well, I want to have a relationship, but I don't want it to be so good. I just want it to be good enough so that I have a little bit of company. Or, well, I want to be healthy, but I don't want to be super healthy. I just want my body to move enough so that I can go around during the day. Or I don't want to get to live more years. I just want to live enough so that I can get to know Earth around. It doesn't make sense. Now, when we're speaking about money, oftentimes when you can truly express what you desire, somebody else is going to say, or your inner voice is going to tell you, well, that's too much. Well, I actually just want to make enough for a living. Well, I don't want to go so far, or that's not my life, that's not my style, or I don't want to be so driven by ego, so I just want this little amount. That is the incoherence that is happening inside of you because you're not allowing yourself to desire what you desire. And that is signaling back that you are not worthy of the life experiences that you want to create for yourself. The incoherence is then translated to a place in your brain that's called the default mood network. And the default mood network is the place in your brain in which you save and store your idea of self. Based on who you think you are and based on what you think you're worth, you make decisions, you make connections, you enhance behaviors, or you repeat patterns. The real change is going to happen when you stop questioning your self-worth and you work on yourself enough so that you know you are valuable. Then money is not going to define you. Money is going to expand you. Finally, you're going to achieve fulfillment. That's what we want. That's what we want to money. Imagine you going to bed easy and at peace, just feeling grateful and fulfilled for the day that you just had. That is the place from where you create wealth. And I'm not talking about a quantity and I'm not talking about an amount. I'm speaking about true fulfillment for you. I'm Elizabeth Ramirez and I'm building this bridge to connect spirituality and business mindset because I truly believe that the deepest practice of spirituality is entrepreneurship or business life. This is a space in which you create everything that you want for yourself and at the same time you're making an impact for everybody else. So if you feel these are things you need to work on now to transform your life, keep watching these videos and you can also follow me on Instagram at elizabethramirez.co